Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. First of all, I want to wish everyone a happy and blessed new year, and I hope you had a fantastic holiday season with your friends and family. Okay, so this day's topic is going to be very crazy. I'm going to tell a story that I've been through and back it up with, obviously a lesson and how important it is not to feed into jealousy, but instead just work harder at what you do. Okay, so let's start off with the story. Probably around 10 years ago, I went out to dinner with this guy. Let's call the guy, for privacy purposes, Silly Billy. Now, I didn't know Silly Billy very well. We had met each other in passing. We knew mutual people. Now, he supposedly was in this business venture with this guy that he knew or worked with or whatever, and came to me out of the blue and just said, "Hey, I went to this restaurant called Fogo de Chao in downtown Baltimore. I think you would really, really like it." And I was like, okay, he said, but you gotta love meat, man. You gotta love meat because it's a steak place. It's a Brazilian steakhouse where it's really upscale and fancy, is what he's telling me at the time. And they go around and they cut you like 15 different types of meat, and then you flip your card green, and they keep going, and you flip your card red, and you stop, and you flip it green again. I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. I'll go. And he was like, well, it's really expensive. It's like $50. I said, that's no problem. I think I can swing $50. I said, I'll go. He says, okay. So we make arrangements to meet down there like 2 weeks later, which was a Saturday. Now, at the time, he said it was going to be me and him, but to my surprise, it was him, his wife, his two children, and me. So I go down there and I meet him down there. Now, as I'm late for everything. Anybody who knows me, I'm like the latest person in the world. So I guess this guy hadn't figured that out about me. I'm not on time for anything. So I get down there and he's mad, like he's pissed, like, man, what took you so long? We're hungry. And I'm like, you didn't know I was a late person, bro. Like, I'm gonna get there when I get there. Like, that's just the type of person I am. I'm not an on time person for anything. I've always been that way. Okay, I got a problem. It's not my fault. I blame other people, but I'm not taking the blame for that. Okay, so I get there, and I was like 5 minutes late. We go in, and the first thing he says is, Dante, what do you do for a living? So I was like, I told him I worked for a different company at the time than what I do now. So I told him what I did for a living. He was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. He says, I make $250,000 a year. And I'm like, skirt. Now, we're in Baltimore City, and that's not the safest place in the world if you say nothing. But this guy had a nerve in front of all of these people at this restaurant to say he made $250,000 a year. And this was like 10 years ago. And I'm saying, that's great. I mean, I'm happy for you. I think that's awesome. But why are you telling me something like that? But he was like, yeah, I was gonna buy this house for 500,000, but the realtor was taking so long, so I didn't purchase it. And I'm listening, like, where is he going with that? And he says, yeah, my parents are rich. And I just was like, okay, like, I mean, that's great. I mean, I'm happy for you and your family, but where are you going with this? Now, out of the blue, he has his teenage daughter. She's probably like 13 at that time. She pops up and says, wait, grandma and grandpa are rich. When did that happen? I don't remember that. And I start laughing like inside. I just put my head down because I knew from the jump he was full of it. But I'm letting him go. Like I'm going to support these actors who try to get the best Academy Award winning for a liar at a dinner table. I'm gonna vote for him for that. You know what I'm saying? So I was voting for him. I was wanting him to win that award because I knew he was full of it. But I mean, hey, if you want to win the Oscar for lying, you got my vote. Like I got you. I'm behind you with that. So he's going for the Oscar. He's got his speech ready, and he's lobbing it up and lobbing it up. So we flip out cards green at the time, and these waiters come around with these silver like tinsels, and they start serving us the meat. Now they put this. I noticed that him and his wife had got up to the salad bar, which was fine. I was ready for the meat. Like I had worked out that day. I was like, I'm straight hungry. So they cut the meat and put it on a plate. All of a sudden, they rush back to the table. Now, I'm telling you guys, this is the truth, nothing but the truth, and I'll bet 100 Twizzlers on it. They started forking off my plate. Now, here's what I mean by forking. I have my plate in front of me. They're cutting the meat in front of you and placing it on the plate. All of a sudden, I see 4 forks, and one of them's not mine. So there's 5 people at the table. 4 forks are going inside my plate, taking the meat off the plate. And I'm like, like you get one of those shocking looks, like I've never seen that before, and I'm like, like did he just did they just wait? And while he's doing it, I'm speechless because I don't know what to say. I don't know if they were just really hungry, or maybe I missed something, or if it was just a thing they did as a family, but it was kids involved. So, me being the type of person I am, I wasn't going to say stop because I just didn't know what was going on at the time. So he says, "Do you mind if we fork that?" I'm thinking, like, fork must mean what he's doing. So, him and his family are forking off my plate. They're taking the meat with their forks and they're eating it. And this is a true story. And I'm saying to myself, like, did I miss something? I mean, did I not? I don't know. Like, I was really shocked. So, really, what was really crazy about it, the waiter saw it. And so, what I found out was he ended up ordering a salad bar for him and his wife. He ordered the whole thing like I ordered for him and his daughter only. So what they were doing was they were going to fork off everybody's plate, but I just happened to be served first. So they started forking off of mine. And I was like, well, if you make $250,000 a year, why can't you get all of your family their plates? But this is how this guy was trying to win that Oscar for best liar at a dinner table. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. That type of thing does not get a rise out of me. Like, I'm not a jealous person. I don't think anybody should be. You always have that friend or that family, which is the member, which is the moral of the story, that decides to broadcast what they have. So, for example, a person may buy a car, and I bought cars, and you would never know that I got one because I'm not the type of person that will come out and be like, I just bought this. I don't do that. You know, to me, that's very tasteless. I may be proud of the purchase that I did and proud of the accomplishment I had, but I'm not going to bring that to the table and brag about it in front of other people. I realize when I'm in a room that everybody comes from different walks of life, and I'm very sensitive to that topic with other people. So I'm never going to brag about where I've been or brag about what I do or brag about what I have or brag about my accomplishments. Instead, I'm going to be very humble and thankful to God that I was able to accomplish a specific goal or attain a specific milestone. And I'm going to keep it to myself, maybe keep it between me and, my fiance or significant, my fiance and and my mom or my close circle. But I'm never going to go around people and brag and boast because I think that's very tasteless. So I think when people do that, it sparks a jealousy factor for other people. So a person may come up and be like, well, we just got a BMW. I'm like, that's great. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being proud of what you have. I'm just a person who doesn't boast about what I have. And I think the importance of learning this is that you learn that people who brag don't actually have what you think they have. That's why they brag. That's something I learned even as a kid. Because as you start to listen to people, they'll tell you their story. Their stories change from time to time to time, and then the truth comes out. And so you start to pay close attention to what people are saying. All you got to do is listen, and they'll tell you their story. So I'm saying to myself, even with this event, that here's a guy who told me he had all of this, but they started forking off my plate as if they were like living out of a box or something. I wasn't mad, I was a little concerned, like, do you need me to help you, like that. But I didn't hold it against him. I never mentioned anything about it. I just act like it didn't bother me, but it did. So here's my point. When someone decides to boast in front of you, when someone decides to throw their accomplishments in your face, be happy for them. Don't get angry, don't get upset. Take a step back and say, you know what? I'm focused on my goals. I'm happy for you, but I'm focused on what I'm doing. Um, and that's why I just never feel the need to get jealous. I always feel that I'm focused on me. I'm focused on building, what I'm building and attaining my goals. And that's so important to me. And I'm so driven towards that the last thing I'm thinking about is what everybody else around me is doing. And I think that's part of being the individual. That's the individual concept, right? So instead of trying to fit inside of the crowd, I go my own way. I don't care about the crowd. I care about, what I'm doing and my goals and, the people that are closest to me, my mom, my fiance, that's what matters. So, that becomes the priority. So I'm certainly not going to prioritize other people's accomplishments because that means that I'm happy for them, but it doesn't really mean a lot to me personally and my goals personally. So I'm a very happy person when friends and family accomplish goals, but I'm also a very driven person in what I want to do and the plans that I have and things that I do. So instead of being jealous or even letting that irritate you, be happy for those individuals, and hope that those individuals continue to gain success in what they do and continue to be successful. But instead, work harder for you, work harder at your goals, because the average person, I don't think, is really jealous of what you have. The average person that gets upset about something like that is upset over goals that they haven't attained. So like if a person buys a Mercedes and they're driving a Honda and their friend buys a Mercedes, they're not mad that you got a Mercedes. Maybe they had a dream car of themselves for themselves that they wanted to get and they didn't get that car. So they're mad at themselves saying, "Man, that could have been me, but I might have messed up here or there and I didn't get this particular car that I wanted." So instead of feeding into what that other person is doing, you need to feed into what you need to do to be better every day. We have to always look at how blessed we are in life to wake up every day, no matter how many mistakes you make, no matter how many shortcomings you have. Every day God blesses you to wake up. It's a chance to do better every day, and that brings you closer to your goals, things you want to do. If you want to buy a house or a condo or a car, vacation, or buy your parents something, or whatever the case may be, build a strong bank account, open up a business. These are all goals that people have. That's what your focus should be, not what other people's goals are, because really that has nothing to do with you. So remember that is the lesson here. I have seen people that I'm very close to, people that I know who have always tended to showboat, and I don't understand it. I support success, but I think the boasting is to me I've never been that person. I've always been a very private person when it comes to like my own personal finances. I love the savings challenge. That's a lesson that we can all learn. But when it comes to my personal finances, my personal financial accomplishments, that will always stay in house. That will never be broadcast over the news for everybody to see. And I think you have to remember that when you're having conversations with friends or family. Every conversation, every piece of information isn't for everybody to hear. So I think sometimes when people are broadcasting that's a little bit tasteless for me personally, maybe not for them, so I don't do that. So I think jealousy is so far from the table for someone like me. I think it's more I'm happy for that person, but I'm more like focused on what I have to do. So that's the moral of the story. And as far as the dinner ended up okay. But what really got me, and I'm going to really laugh about this, is when the guy ordered dessert, it was like he had a family of four and ordered like a small slice of cake, and they did it again. It wasn't off my plate this time, it was off his. And they all went in like forks, like that episode of Seinfeld where they were like, "If you want to join us, you'll eat it." And they were all going in with forking. I don't know if it was a custom thing or what, but I mean, they were just forking off of, I'm like, I never heard of that. But I mean, I guess it's common somewhere. I mean, it happened to me, so it's all good. Anyway, I wish that person the best, and I'm happy for him and his family or whatever happened to all of them. So everybody have a wonderful, blessed Sunday, and stay tuned for my next video. It's going to be really cool. And my savings challenge, we're on week. I'm actually going into week 4 because I already did the first 3 weeks. So I will be picking up from there, but I will be doing it a little bit earlier because I tend to do it on Fridays because that's an easier day for me to do my budget. So I will do the savings challenge again on this Friday. Don't forget that. Let's get there, people. Let's all save together. Let's build our finances up. Let's prepare for a very challenging year as the economy is changing all around the world, and we want to be able to keep up with that. And it helps us to be smarter with money. It helps us to balance our bank accounts more. So I'm excited about the new savings challenge, and also the fitness challenge, running every day. Can I get to 1,000 miles in 1 year? I did it when I was a kid. Let's see if I can do it at the age of 46. I mean 26. So we're going there, working out, staying healthy, all of those good things. Hope everybody had a fantastic holiday. Peace.